Kratz dance is back. If you know, you know. Kratz has been out for a minute, and some people comment almost every day on our YouTube video and say, Kratz dance. They look forward to it. Kratz dance is just a simple head nod. Sometimes little shoulders are involved. He's back.
You got to stay in your lane. AJ might need to stay right here, and that's fine. But just put the thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your lane.
Sometimes AJ does dance, so I can't confirm when I'm not with him, but when I do sit next to him, sometimes there's like a little bit of movement before the show starts. But then he usually gets in position. AJ, fact or fiction?
No, it's true. I've danced on the air before.
Yeah.
I've danced for money before, Scott. Have you?
Yeah, this past weekend. I dance for money all the time. Couple shout outs before we dive in. First off, shout out to FT fan Cody Moss. He got a trucker hat today. We don't shout the store out that often, but foulterritoryshop.com does have a ton of new gear. So this is your trucker hat. I have a bunch of other things that if I start reaching for, I'm going to cause a lot of noise, but let's see if I can grab this with my foot without shutting off the internet. There is all kinds of, what's this called, Kratz?
I don't know. Water bottle?
Canteen? Water bottle. I mean,
Cantina?
I thought there was a fancier word for it, but whatever.
You guys call them something different up there in New Jersey? Like I thought it was a water.
Yeah. After you dance
water
for money,
bottle?
everything changes. Water bottle. Anyway, foulterritoryshop.com. Appreciate Cody for making a little purchase. And most of our team shows have shop accounts as well. Lastly, Kratz, you missed it yesterday. AJ was getting into it with one of our buddies in the chat. Nice, healthy debate about the state of the Mets. We're not going to spend a segment on the Mets today, but I did want to shout out longtime researcher Bill Chuck. He has a newsletter. Part of it's free, part of it is subscription-based, but I'm going to take a couple things from the free one on the Mets. Since June 8th, they've played 53 games. They're 22-31 in those games. David Peterson has made 10 starts and pitched at least 6 innings in 8 of them. No other Mets pitcher has pitched 6 innings in the 53 games besides David Peterson. And during that stretch, the Mets have a 4.80 ERA, starters ERA of 4.78, relievers ERA 4.83. Lastly, on the stats, you see superstars struggling. He pointed out how Francisco Lindor actually broke his right pinky toe on June 4th after he was hit by a pitch. Through that game, 843 OPS. Since then, 613 OPS.
You play through stuff. Like that. So it's all part. Like you go through grinds of the season, but the gist of that whole article, the gist of all those stats, the pitching. You don't want to sit here and say, I told you so. But I think some of the starting pitchers that they've had to throw out there because of injuries, 4.7 ERA, not many innings, you kind of knew that's what you were going to get. The issue is, beginning of the season, that bullpen was banging. They were hitting on all cylinders. They were fresh. What do we always talk about? End of July, all of August. Then September, everybody gets another shot of adrenaline. They have to figure out how to weather, not just, I think they're 1-9 in their last 10, but not just the losses. They have to figure out how to weather, hey, you know what? Let's get our guys all set for the postseason. But then you're like, wait a minute, we still have to make the playoffs. I don't think they're in danger of not making it. I see them being able to turn this around, but the pitching falters because your starting pitching, in my opinion, wasn't built, especially when Manaea went out. It wasn't built to withstand a full season. Now it's kind of leaking into the bullpen, as all those stats show.
Yeah, the wild cards look fun. In the American League, entering Tuesday night's games, the Mariners have a nice little cushion at the top. They've won 7 in a row. The Red Sox follow. Then the Yankees, who are just 1 game clear of Cleveland and 2.5 up on Texas. On the other side, you have the Cubs and Padres with a healthy advantage for those first 2 spots. Then the Mets have a 2-game lead over Cincinnati. Reds lost to the Phillies yesterday. And the St. Louis Cardinals are only 3 games out of a playoff spot, despite their negative run differential. Yes, the Cleveland Guardians also have negative run differential, AJ, and they're just a game out. So we are in mid-August, and we have multiple negative run differential teams with a chance at making the postseason.
Scott, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really think that the New York Yankees are going to not make the playoffs over the Cleveland Guardians? And if it does happen, is it more of a failure of the Yankees or a great job by the Guardians? Because I think you could lean one way more than the other. Because, I mean, if you look at the Guardians, they're, listen, they're doing great. Voter's been great. Their pitching, like always, has been unbelievable. They still don't really hit. They don't really score a lot of runs. So it's not like they're banging the ball out of nowhere and, oh, wow, look at the Guardians. How good of a hitters they are. They're 5 games over 500. 61 and 56. The Yankees are 7 games over 500. So I'm going to ask you too. If this happens, is it more a failure of the Yankees or a great job by the Guardians?
I mean, both, but if I have to pick one, then I'll go Yankees failure. Just like last year, as great as the Tigers were down the stretch, the Twins crumbled. They fell apart. And without that, you don't have the Tigers' magical run. So I'll go with the negative side of things. Kratz, what about you, quick?
Yeah, I'd go the same way.
Okay. Fair. All right, we'll see what happens. Let's actually hit the Red Sox, who went to Houston last night for a game that had a playoff vibe to it. Let's charge. Charging the mound. Astros topped the Red Sox. This game had everything. Carlos Correa's first game back with them playing I'm Coming Home for his walk-up music. Alex Bregman returns to Houston. First AB 2-run home run. Second AB, they're booing him. And he's on the opposition. That is exactly how you do it. Oh, also, Garrett Crochet had his worst start of the year, season high tying 5 runs allowed, 2 electric innings, and then he fell apart. Also, Christian Javier makes his return for the first time since May of 2024 from Tommy John surgery. He looked pretty good. And lastly, Josh Hader was unavailable, some shoulder discomfort. They used him a lot. What was that? A couple days ago in that series against the Yankees, he had a 36-pitch outing. Hopefully he's okay. Astros bullpen bent, did not break. This had to be cool for you, Kratz, to watch all this. It feels like 2017, 18, 19 again.
I mean, this is we didn't think when the season started that with all the subtractions that the Astros had, they would be in this spot. But why do we ever question them? They just figure out how to win. And then they went and Jim Crane said, yeah, sure, I'll take on Correa's contract. And Correa's gone out, and I think he's got a 9-game hitting streak. They got to, in my opinion, one of the top 3 pitchers in the American League right now in Crochet. He dominated him the first time through the order. They made some adjustments. They picked some things out. They got to him. To me, this is throwback to like you said, the 18-19. Like these teams, and fortunately, they could be coming down to the end here where they could be battling for a wild card position if the Mariners catch the Astros, which I think they might if Hader's out. But they could be battling. This series is huge, and it has all the storylines that you want to see at this point in the season.
Here's my thing. This is a bonus win for the Astros for me. Because if you would have told them going into this game, as hot as the Mariners have been, and as bad, I mean, not bad, but the Astros haven't been playing great. You lose, people here and there, left and right, but you go back to Houston. Correa's back. Great. Everyone's excited. You're facing Garrett Crochet, who's one of the best pitchers in the league and has been dominant, and you're pitching Christian Javier. So you're not one of your main guys. Yes, he's been there before, but he hasn't been great for him. And he hasn't pitched for a long time. He wasn't even great on rehab. And they win this game? This is like 2 or 3 wins for the Astros. Because this is a game going into it, you would have been like, the Astros have no chance in this game. And they win this game? It's a big deal. It is a confidence boost for these Astros to win that game last night. Especially after you fell behind 2-0 in the first 2 hitters. Whack, whack. You're down 2-0. You're like, oh boy, what do we got ourselves into? You come back and you put a big number up on Crochet, hold on to win this game. This is a big win for the Astros.
And they were avoiding Abreu, pitched twice this past weekend, and he also warmed up in the one game he didn't pitch in. Hader had the situation like I'm talking about, shoulder discomfort. They're going to check him out. So there's your two best relievers who have been two of the best in baseball this year. And Bennett Sousa had to shut it down against Roman Anthony, who had homered earlier in the game. Anthony steps up, tying run at second base, and they shut it down. So it's a 1-run win. I mean, that's a fun game to attend if you're an Astros fan. You also find out before the game, one of your top few prospects, Jacob Melton, is getting the call for Houston to see what he looks like. He had an 880 OPS in AAA. He was a second-round pick in 2022. How about trades? Ramon Urias was kind of one of the smaller pickups, Kratz. Boom, 2-run homer. His first with the Astros comes off Jordan Hicks, who was acquired in the Rafael Devers deal. So, yeah, I mean, this was an all-around awesome day if you're a Houston fan showing up to the yard when your team's in a fight for the division.
Yes, it is. To me, the Red Sox question, I got to ask it to AJ, though. The Red Sox side of this, when you guys were a young team with the Twins, what kind of, like, were you guys just, when you made the playoffs, were you guys just playing with house money kind of thing? Because to me, if the Red Sox hold on, and I feel like the Red Sox may falter here and be the one on the outside looking in at the end of the playoffs here, I don't think, like, how do you learn during this time the pressure-packed situation? I get it. Roman Anthony hit a big-time dinger in an environment in Houston that was kind of hostile to the Red Sox, to Bregman when he comes up the next inning and he's getting booed.
What do you mean? What do you? I don't.
When you're young, this team is super young. The whole position player core. How do you get, like? How did you guys come together in the sense of, like, hey, you know what? We're going to make the playoffs, because nobody on your team had any playoff experience. Nobody on their team had any playoff experience.
Like, well, here's my. Well, yeah, but see, we had all come up together through the minor leagues. A lot of us with the Twins. So I just think that, you know what, we just expected to win. Now, listen, 2001, our first full year all together, we had a lead on the Indians at the time, now the Guardians, but they had Tomey and they had Kenny Lofton and Roberto Alomar. And they had a squad, right? And we lost. We kind of blew it. We faded because it was our first full year. We didn't know what we were going to do. 2002, we went into it and said, we're winning the division and we're going to make a run in the playoffs because we just felt we were that good. And we win the division handily. We lost in the ALCS to the Angels. But there was never like a doubt. In 2001, I mean, we honestly thought we were going to make it that year. And we kind of, I mean, I don't want to say we choked, but we just fell off because we didn't really know. And how do you learn? You learn through that experience. The difference in the Red Sox is you got Bregman, you got Trevor Story, you got some guys that have been through it before. It's not like this team is totally young. I mean, they have some guys that have been through some stuff before that can relate it. When I was with the Twins, we had nobody. I mean, in 2001, we didn't have anybody. Brad Radke had never been to the playoffs. Eric Milton, our starting staff, had never been to the playoffs. Kyle Lowes, Joe Mays, these guys had never – we had like literally not one guy on our team that had ever been to the playoffs. 2002, we brought in a little couple, Rick Reed and some older guys, and made some adjustments, and that was when we got better. But until you go through 162 games with that intensity, you don't really know. I think the Red Sox are going to be fine, though, because I think they're better – and they've gotten better through the year, which is nice. And Roman Anthony's going to be a stud.
Yeah, he looks like it. He's got it all working right now. One more thing on the Astros side. Chas McCormick hit his first home run since August of 2024. I mean, this was a total throwback glory days game for the Astros because it's been a rough go for Chas over the past year or so. But good for him to get back on the board. He had a big game yesterday for Houston. So the Astros take game one of this series. We'll be watching more of this. Yeah, for me last night, this was an easy pay light attention to what's going on during that time period, but heavy attention to the game in Houston. It was really fun. Playoff vibes. Anyway, we're coming right back with all-star Cubs starter Matt Boyd. Hey, we love ripping slab packs on Arena Club. I just ripped one in a Ruby pack. Those are fancy schmancy, Kip. And I pulled a Matt Shaw 2023 Bowman Draft Aqua Lunar Crater Refractor card. And guess what? Guess what? I got a little offer. You get the instant offer right away. Okay. So they're offering me $121 to sell it back, and then I can get a new slab pack. What do I do?
I want to see this thing. Hold on. Look at that. That's a beautiful card. You know what? I think that's a safe bet. I think it's going to make you a little bit of money. I think the more big league time he gets, I'd almost take the deal, though. I'm in it for the chase. I like opening more packs. I think that 121 can buy you a couple more slabs to open, and I think you keep chasing until you get something you really like. But that's the best part about it for me.
That's right. You can sell it back, $121, and then open up another slab pack. Use the code FOUL to receive 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/foul. Hey, AJ, while you're talking about your Twins days, I still can't understand or believe this stat when I see it. So you nailed it. Yankees got back on track with a win over the Twins yesterday, 6-2. Will Warren shoved. The Yankees are 124-44 against the Twins, including the postseason, since 2002. 124-44. That is a number, a head-to-head matchup you really don't see in our sport.
Except of the Yankees and the Twins. Crazy. And I'm proud to say I was there when it started, because in 2003 we lost to them. We won game one in the DS, and we lost the next three. So that was where it kind of started. We were never intimidated. I remember we went and played them. I don't know. We played them one year. We used to hit Mussina fairly decently, I think. But in Pettit, we hit Pettit decently, I think. But I don't know. We when I first came up, like 01, 02, we did okay against them. And then it was in 03, once they beat us in the postseason, that we were like, okay. And then I was traded away. Maybe it was me. I don't know. But they couldn't beat them since.
Curse of AJ Pierzynski.
I don't know, because we did okay with them when I was on the White Sox too. So I don't know. Maybe it was that.
It's just crazy for an organization that obviously has had endless turnover, as any team does over that 20-year span. But it's not like Minnesota's got the same players rolling for a long period of time. Everybody shuffles in, and they just can't beat the Yankees.
It changed. I mean, the whole team turned over. Like when Mauer, Morneau, that whole team took over. Kadire was there a little bit with us. Or with me, he was there for a year, I think. But it turned over and stayed the same.
It's the pole lads.
Matthew Boyd of the Cubs, the All-Star, joining us right now on FT. I'll carry our conversation over to you for a moment here. First off, how you doing, bud?
Doing good, man. How you doing? I actually got to meet your parents at Wrigley a few days ago.
I heard about that. I was going to bring that up at some point. Were they nice? Were they nice to you?
Oh, they were so kind. Yeah, great people.
Good. I'm glad. Well, thank you for saying hello to them. Meant a lot. Yeah, they were at Wrigley recently. So I wanted to ask you, how much attention do you pay to the history of an organization or a rivalry or a series? We were talking about how the Yankees just stomp on the Twins for like 20 years, going back to literally AJ's rookie years or early years in the Twins organization. Does any of that come up? Because most players I've spoken to are like, I don't know anything about the history of this rivalry or whatever else. I'm just playing ball. But what about you?
I mean, it comes up sometimes. Some of it you're aware of. It's like Cubs Cardinals, the rivalry there. But like some of it at the same time, like just doesn't hold the same, it's there, but it's not going to really change anything. Like it's just, if you follow the game, sometimes you're aware of that stuff. But I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like you go do your thing, and it's like, hopefully, I mean, it just doesn't really have too much bearing on you.
But have you ever seen teammates get intimidated by going into places? Because I played for the Blue Jays in 2014. And I remember going into Yankee Stadium, and these dudes were doing interviews on the field, and I'm like, you guys never do any of this stuff anywhere else, and then we go out and we get waffled by the Yankees. Like, do you see teammates that get, and how do you even talk to them when you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you guys know, when you play in a place sometimes, and you've been there for multiple years, I remember in Detroit, it was always like Cleveland was always something that was just hard for us, like we wish it wasn't, but we just lost there a lot. Kluber and Carrasco and Bauer would shut us down, and Tomlin would come in and shut us down. Like it was just, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for it, but there's just a mental thing there. And when you come into another club, sometimes you look at that. I just remember when we were in Seattle, and at the time the Astros were a team that it kind of had their number, and it's just like, coming from Detroit, it was like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But then, like they're like, why were you? They'd have the same reaction to you, kind of feeling a way about Cleveland, sort of thing, right? So sometimes that stuff just builds up over time. But like when it is there, you just got to recognize it and be like, okay, it's still the same game. There's no there's no hidden hex or something on this game or whatever. It's still baseball. You go do what you do, and more often than not, if you do the things the right way, a symptom of that's winning, and you get over those things.
All right. Well, I don't know if you heard the numbers, but what'd you say it was? 122-44, Scott, was the Yankees' record since 2003 against the Twins. As much as
124 and 44.
So they're 80 games over 500 against them in the last like 22 years now. So for me, here's the thing. I was there. 2003 was my last year with the Twins. I went away. Okay. But teams changed. Yankees changed. Twins changed. Is that just an organizational mindset? Because, they played in the playoffs. They got swept every time. The Yankees swept the Twins. Played in wild card games. They beat them, right? Is it because the press brings it up? Even though the player's like, I don't know anything about that. I wasn't here. But the media. So do you think that could possibly creep in a team's head just because the media brings it up?
I mean, I guess it could. Anything's possible. I mean, you got to think about the turnover on those rosters. Like, how far guys go back. Like, it's not probably not much more between like 2016 at this time, right? So it's like, maybe sometimes that sneaks in, and sometimes it just, I don't know, just sometimes there's just winning, and there may not be another explanation for it. It's just how it happens. But I mean, I'd like to think that like when that stuff gets brought up, all that stuff is, you become aware of it as a player because, like you said, the media is going to bring it up to you. But you acknowledge it, and just keep going about what you do. It is weird. That's a crazy record, though. It's a crazy crazy stat going back that far.
All right. Since you're with the Cubs, who's the Cubs rivalry with? Is it with Milwaukee? Because I played in Milwaukee, and it's like Chicago Cubs fans love like, we come to, at the time, Miller Park, and like, look how many Cubs fans there are. And it's like, well, you're just too cheap to drive down to Chicago. Or is it with the Cardinals? So where's the rivalry really at with the Cubs now that you're in the organization and you can see it firsthand?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always, but the historical one, just because of time and the leagues, is the Cubs Cardinals. Like that's the rivalry right there with the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Giants and Dodgers that you hear about, right? It's one of the best rivalries in sports. I think the proximity, and since the Brewers came to the National League, handful of years ago, like, and that proximity of being, only an hour and a half apart makes that a fun rivalry too, and I mean, anytime you get to play like multiple games against quality ball clubs, you know what I mean? Like, or multiple games against anybody, it can always bring out something. So I've enjoyed playing in Milwaukee. It's always a fun environment there. I remember in 2018, we went there for the last series of the year when they were pushing for a wild card or pushing for a playoff spot, and that was, we were with the Tigers, and that was a great environment. And every time we've played there this year against the Brewers, it's always been a good environment. And it's I love all the games that the fans get into. I think it's awesome for baseball and whatnot. But I think they're both good rivalries. I'm not going to give any locker room talk or bulletin board material for anything. One's better than the other.
That's funny, Matthew. But I got to ask you this: are you guys sitting there going, "We have the third best record in the National League, and we're 6.5 games behind the Brewers"? Have you guys gone to council and been like, "Hey, have you thought about putting some pancakes in your pocket or trying something different, counts, to keep up with these guys?" Because 10 wins in a row, 9 wins in a row, 8 wins in a row. It's like they lose one, they win 9. They lose one, they win 10. You're like, you guys have got to be sitting there going, "We're playing pretty damn well, and we're losing ground rapidly. Like, what is going on?"
I mean, it's hats off to them. They're playing great baseball. And obviously you want to, have runs like they're having. And it's amazing when you have them. But when it comes down to it, you got to be, you acknowledge what they're doing, but it doesn't change what you do, right? And baseball's a crazy game. You can do stuff. You can go on runs like that. You can have stretches where the ball's just not rolling your way, right? And despite it all, like you show up and you know what you expect of yourself individually and collectively as a team. And sometimes that's harder than others when you have a team, like the Brewers, and they're so hot right now. They're doing their thing, and it's they they're a good ball club. But we know how good we are too. And you just go, okay, like they're doing what they're doing. You trust that come September 30th when it rolls around, like standings will be where, like they'll settle where they're supposed to be, but you just double down on what you're doing in those times and saying, okay, like you can't let outside things change your process, because that's when things start to go awry. And they're playing great baseball, but we go out and we keep doing our thing. We trust what we're doing. We trust our process, and you go from there.
Can you put your finger on what makes Craig Counsell, when he signed his contract, the highest paid manager at the time? Obviously, Dave Roberts now is higher, but like the value that he brings, because I try to explain it. It's better coming from somebody that sees him day in and day out right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was really like stood out to me when I got to be around, Craig in spring training, was just like the attention to detail. Over the course of 162 games, right? Like, as you guys know, there can be things that slide down, like that where focus is early and then they drift away. Whether it's something as simple as holding runners or throwing behind runners, stuff that should be just like the attention to detail and trying to win in the margins and all those different things. And I think from day one in spring, what really impressed me was Counts like demanding some of these things out of us, whether it was holding runners in bowl, like doing something as simple as like, hey, we want to be quick to the plate. If we can eliminate extra bases, that's going to be huge for us. So in our first few bullpens, let's put an emphasis on holding runners. Like, shouldn't be too much to ask. When you're going through PFPs, all these little things that may seem minuscule and small in the moment, those can win baseball games, all through the stretch. And that can be the difference, that when it comes to the end of September, you're going, remember when we kept that guy on first instead of and he wasn't able to get that extra base, and then that ball that might have been a hit ended up being a double play and we're out of the inning. Like, those are the little things that can make differences over the course of a season. And I think Counts being able to ask those things of us in a way that, and he's such a good communicator too, where you stand with him, and I think it's what elevates him as a leader, and it's been great, and I mean, I've really appreciated it down to our pitcher talks. Like in spring training, it's like, hey, the big thing for you is going to be healthy this year. Like, you haven't pitched, mass amount of innings since 2019. So it's going to be, you got to communicate with me. I'm going to communicate with you. We're going to find ways to, do this and that to make this work so we can be pitching all the way through October. And it's just like having those conversations up front and then checking in on it. And whether it's, something as simple as that, or demanding we do something different in a baseball game to help us win games, like, it's awesome. And it's like you see why he had the success he had in Milwaukee and he's had as a manager, and I'm so happy to play for him. It's a lot of fun, and we got a great ball club.
That's a great answer. I'm going to ask you a fan question here. A lot of Cubs fans watching on TV and in our chat on YouTube. Chris says, Boyd, how or who taught you your move to first? That thing damn near a balk, dog. And I'll add to the question, because I think it was your last start or the start before when it went a little viral. There was just people going back and forth on Twitter like, it's not a balk because blah, blah, blah. And I actually think like that's the form of social media that I really do enjoy, where people are just debating a sports topic going on during a game in real time. So anyway, I don't know if you caught that at all, but your thoughts and your answer to Chris's question.
Yeah. So Mark Yoshino, Bellevue Community College, out by Seattle. Yosh taught me my pickoff move when I was at Bellevue Community College's summer baseball camp. Like, it's a place where my mom and dad dropped me off when I was 9 years old, and Yosh is a lefty. He kind of took a liking to me. He taught me my move then, and every offseason I've just continued to go back and work on it with him. It's one of those things, if you get an out, that's a bonus. If you can hold a base runner at first base and not get an out, just because the threat of the move, I mean, that's a win. And those are kind of the little margins that like can make a difference. And we've gotten some more outs on it this year, and that's been awesome. Tommy's helped me a ton with it too, Tommy Hotovy, because it's one of those things where if you don't practice it, you can get into some bad habits, and those bad habits can tip a runner or whatnot. And I mean, scouting reports, spread like wildfire in this league. So if there's something that like you do that, can help a base runner get an extra base or whatnot, it'll get out there. So Tommy's being a lefty has helped me, stay sharp on it in the season. I think I've only been called on one balk on that move, and that was Joe West, and he was umpiring third base, and there was a guy on third, and he balked a run in. It was a first and third, and I picked off, and Joe called me for a balk in 2019 on that. But I think that's the only balk I've been called it going over. And I know I've been getting thrown in some mentions here and there of people very, passionate about my move on one way or the other. But it's never. I haven't been called a balk on it, and it's I don't think it breaks the rules at all, So, but yeah, it's a weapon, and the goal, whether it keeps a guy at first or gets an out, either way, it's something that's beneficial.
All right. Before we get a little bit off baseball, Mark Burley never got a balk called on him either until Joe West got him. Right? Same thing. Because you know why? Because Joe would get picked off by the pitcher. He'd like, I'm not. Oh, he got me. Balk. It has to be a balk, right? But he was umping first. I don't know if you ever seen Burley throws his glove up in the air, gets ejected. Ozzie comes out, gets ejected. It was in Cleveland. Okay. Next time Burley started, Joe West was like it was Joe and Angel Hernandez on the same crew. So we had Angel Hernandez at home. Joe was like at second or first. And I told Mark, I go, listen, if you throw over, you're going to have to give the most generic move in the world. Like pick your leg up and just go to first. Right? So we call throw over, and sure enough, picks his leg. The most obvious, like I'm going to first. Boom. Balk by Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire. I'm like, I knew it. I can't believe it. And they just did it to prove the point that Burley's move was a balk. Even though he literally did like the most generic, like, hey, guys, I'm going to first. Woo. And they're like, balk.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. No. So Angel's gone now, so you don't have to worry about that. So is Joe. But, yeah, just be careful.
Yeah, I will. Burley had a good move. He was on the Blue Jays when I got called up. It was a quick minute, but, yeah, that was no, it's fun. It's fun to watch other lefties move too. I mean, Fried's got a great one. Shota's got a really good one too. He got a guy this week, so it was fun to watch.
All right. So my question is, July and August, I try to tell people when I played, like people say dog days. What I liked about July and August in baseball was dudes start getting pissed off at each other. Do you have any good, like, because the season just grinds on and like some people like aren't doing as well, it's hot, all that stuff. Do you have any good stories about dudes getting mad at each other at the end of the season that kind of like then, fizzled out and everybody calmed down?
I mean, I don't know if I have any good stories that I can recollect. They definitely happen. They did. I mean, a lot of it's over little petty stuff over the course of the year. I will say this, and he's probably going to get mad at me for telling this, but last night at team dinner, Brage was just angry. The food couldn't come fast enough. And it's like, dang, Brage, like, can we just enjoy a show dinner, man, and have some fun? And like once he got fed, he was all happy. But I think you start to see little things like that wear on, and most of it, when you have a good perspective, is pretty comical in hindsight. But yeah, as you guys know, you can get around some guys over the year that get a little salty. It's one cool thing about this ball club is that we got some good guys and we got some really good attitudes. And we had a team. This last team flight coming into Toronto, I think, was our best team flight so far. Guys are always like, guys are talking, guys are in the aisle having a good time. I'm not trying to get us in trouble with FAA or anything like that, but like it's a good time on the plane, good time on the bus, on the mic. And I think that speaks to, where you're at with your ball club. It's pretty fun. Guys enjoy being around each other despite how the season's going, despite how our individual seasons are going. And we got a lot of good veterans, and Justin Turner and, Dan's and Happer. Like, keep guys light and give guys a hard time when you're supposed to, but guys are light about it. So we're in a good spot with this ball club, but as you know, there stuff this time of year can get pretty petty at times, and it's always a good time when it does happen.
All right, Matthew. First of all, you guys probably went to Barbarians. That's where everybody. I don't know if they still go there, but that's where everyone used to go back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably been there. It's good.
We
good
did
place.
Jacobs last night. We did Jacobs,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hey, have you ever? Did you ever know Woogie, or did you ever know? Are you a fan of the 49ers or the Dolphins? Because you look like Matt Dillon from Something About Mary. The whole time I'm sitting here looking at you, and I'm going, "Do you have something in his hair, or is that just the predate stuff?" I'm like, holy cow! I cannot now that if you see it, it's.
I've heard the Matt Dillon guy. I've heard the Matt Dillon comparison quite a bit. He's a good-looking guy, so I'll take that.
No, he is.
Yeah.
He's in some great movies too. So
yeah,
you
great
should
movies.
definitely. I mean, listen.
He's
not
a
Cruel
good
Intentions.
character in Something About Mary.
Yes.
That's a good
it wasn't.
one.
It's not Cruel Intentions. What was the one with Denise Richards and Wild Things? Yeah, that was. You should have been Matt Dillon in that movie. Because that was a good character to be there. Just saying.
Young, handsome Matt Dillon. That's good.
Yes.
Same first name too.
I get a guy from Peloton too, but I don't know. I don't have a Peloton.
I don't know.
I'm not really.
I don't
in that.
either.
That's what people in Chicago are saying. Oh, you look like so and so from Peloton. I'm like,
do you know the name?
Ben
Aldis?
No, I don't know. But I'm like, is he good looking? They're like, yeah, he's a handsome guy. I'm like, okay, cool. But
What's his name, Kratz?
I think it's Ben Aldis.
Ben Aldis. I'm Googling. Hold on.
If he's a handsome guy, I'll take it.
I don't remember all their names, but
is much more Matt Dillon than
I like Matt Dillon.
I would take the Matt Dillon comp.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And by the way, Matthew, I'm in Atlanta where last time I think I saw you, your family was getting out of a gigantic van of people at the All-Star game. So, and here's Matthew Boyd standing out there full uniform, and I'm walking back to the hotel before the All-Star game. Yeah. I'm going to leave. He's standing out there in full uniform, and I'm like, what is he doing? And I see this gigantic van pull up, and like 50 people get out with all Boyd jerseys on. I'm like, have fun, Matthew. Enjoy your time with your family.
And the funny part is, like, half of that's just the immediate family. That's the 4 kids and the nanny and the whole Boyd crew. So I mean, we roll deep whenever we do. It's never a cheap. Love it when everyone's in town. It's never cheap, but I love it. Yeah.
Hey, you got to go big for the All-Star game. I love that.
Exactly right. It was fun. I got to share it with everybody. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, you got to really appreciate those moments. I know most players do, but that's really cool to bring a big crew out there. Matthew, awesome catching up, man. Thanks for the time as always. We'll catch you down the road.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you. Matthew Boyd from the Cub with us on FT. Jim Bowden joining us next. Kratz, tell everyone why they need to look into a virtual private network, aka a VPN.
It's kind of like wearing trousers. It keeps everything private and secure whenever you venture out.
That's good. That's really good. And Surfshark creates user-friendly privacy and security solutions to protect your data and your privacy online. It enables you to virtually explore the globe, browse privately by encrypting your internet activity, and block ads and malware that may disrupt your experience. So go to surfshark.com/foul or use the code FOUL at checkout at surfshark.com to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. It's a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, and the FT fam is hooked up with 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN when you sign up at surfshark.com and use the code FOUL. It is time to take control of your online security. Try Surfshark today. Hey, we have some Statcast numbers that were pointed out. Oh man, I forget who tweeted it, but it was pretty cool. Oh, here, Red Sox Enjoyer, I think, was the one who put out some of the all-timer Statcast numbers. So I think the Statcast era is since 2015, I want to say. It's funny, we used to not be allowed to say Statcast era. They wanted us to say since Statcast started or something like that. Yeah, it was a MLB thing. I don't know. I didn't ask. Anyway, we can show you some of the red and who's on the leaderboard. if we have it, there it is. Batting run value, Judge from 24. Billy Hamilton still has the top base running value number from 2016. Fielding run value number is Posey in 2016. Most outs above average range wise, Nick Ahmed 2018, 34 plus 34. Arm value was Adam Eaton in 2016. Arm strength was O'Neal Cruz last year. Sprint speed, Byron Buxton in 2015, tied with Victor Robles in 2017. I don't have time to read all of the others on here, but a lot of Aaron Judge and Luis Ariz for contact, Judge for strength. What do you guys think?
I'm trying to look at the one that Alex Avila's on. LA Sweet Spot.
Launch angle.
I like
Launch angle sweet spot.
So that's good.
I guess.
I think it's
don't use
cool.
that one often. But
I think it's cool, but it's not anything. It's not anything we didn't know. That's why I was looking at all that stuff. Like it's like, yeah, you knew those guys were all going to be at the top. I think the one that's cool is the Byron Buxton we talked about the other day. Byron Buxton's just or faster than Simpson.
yeah, than Chandler Simpson. That's true. Front Office Unfiltered resident GM Jim Bowden joining us right now. JB, I actually want to start with a statement for you, just like our old days when we used to host some radio shows together. So I'm just going to start with this statement. The game is broken, JB. It is broken. We have the smallest TV market in Major League Baseball with by far the best record in baseball. This is exactly what everyone said all offseason long, JB. Everyone was like, it's so unfair. The smallest TV markets always are the best. It's not fair that the Dodgers always stink. They get to spend all the money, and yet they're looking behind them, and the Padres might catch them. Oh, wait, that's not anything that we said. Most people said 120 wins for the Dodgers. No one else has a chance. Small markets have no chance. Oh, wait, maybe the Brewers are just run well. So what do you think about where we're at as a sport in mid-August?
Yeah, it's been exciting, hasn't it? I love the fact that we have so many small market teams that are in the middle of a race. It's been a lot of fun. And as you mentioned, the Milwaukee Brewers, I mean, they have been the best team in baseball. And it's been really fun to watch, right? The first team since 2019 to put together 2 10-game winning streaks in the same season. Like, that's just incredible. And yet you look at their team and you understand why. They have 3 number 1 starters, right? Freddie Peralta, who faces Paul Skeens today, has 13 wins and a 3.0 ERA. Before Mizorowski got hurt, he had 4-1 with a 2.7 ERA. And Brandon Woodruff, it looks like the ace he was before he got hurt. He's 4-0 with a 2.2 ERA. And oh, by the way, the 4th starter, Jose Quintana, has 10 wins and a 3.4 ERA. And Quinn Priester has 11 wins and a 3.4 ERA. And oh, by the way, they have an impact closer in Trevor McGill, who's converted 28 of 31 save opportunities with a 2.2 ERA. And, we'll talk about the offense. 5th in baseball in runs scored, 2nd in stolen bases. And depending on what defensive metrics you like, they're either 4th or 5th or 6th, right? Pick your poison whenever you want. But this is a complete team. Their manager, Pat Murphy's done an unbelievable job. Their GM, Matt Arnold, is the reigning executive of the year in Major League Baseball. It's a small market team that is going out there and legitimately has a chance to not only win this division, but to get to the World Series and maybe win the World Series. So it's been great for baseball. It's a lot of fun to watch, and the vibe that's going on in Milwaukee is just sick. I love it.
If you're the GM of this team, besides like saying, hey, these guys are winning, like I'm just going to let them do what they do, Matt Arnold's been there before when David Stearns was there, and this team just bows out in the playoffs. Is there some kind of message that you're sending down saying, hey, okay, analytically, we need to make sure that our manager makes this adjustment because in the playoffs, this hasn't worked? Because all those names that you just said, it's all the same numbers, just rinse and recycle different names besides Freddie Peralta and Big Woo. Like, it's a new closer. They've had the best closer for the last 6 years in baseball. Like, it's just constantly, they're just rinsing new names in, but they haven't been able to push it through in the playoffs.
Yeah, that is true. And, I think when we go back and we look at the CC Sabathia days when he was pitching on 2 and 3 days rest just to go out there and try to win. And then we had the run when they had Hader and they were babying him, right? They weren't pushing the envelope with him, which, maybe not caused them a chance to get there. But I think this particular team is a little bit different than the rest. I mean, when you have three guys, Peralta, Mizorowski, and Woodruff, pitching up to their capabilities with McGill and what he's done, the first-time All-Star this year, and the way they play defense, the way they're so athletic, the way they move the chains, and yet they have the veterans like Christian Yelich that can also carry the team. I think this team's a little bit different. I think this team has a better ceiling just because of how deep they are. And again, I think Pat Murphy has just done a brilliant job with this group. They're very close. They can beat you in so many different ways, right? And, Bryce Turan can make a diving play up the middle to win you a game. Durbin's jersey's dirty by the national anthem. There's just knit, there's grit, it's a complete team. So I actually like this team a lot better than any Brewer team since Sabathia was on the bump.
Everyone loved when CeCe was pitching those games for the Brewers because he pitched on 2 days rest. He went 9 innings every time, Jim. So, I mean, it's tough. It was tough to fault anybody. Oh, hey, CeCe, go throw a shutout. Okay, guys. Oh, I pitched 2 days ago. Go do it again. Okay, I'll do that. I mean, it was pretty tough to beat that. Speaking of CeCe, one of his other teams, I thought you were talking about the Yankees when you were talking about a complete team, athleticism, well-managed, pitching, defense, you were not talking about them. What's going on in the Yankee land? And who's to blame? I keep saying it's not Aaron Boone's fault. He's given a roster. He does the best he can. He stands up for his players. But who's really to blame for Yankee woes?
Well, first of all, you're completely right about it not being on Aaron Boone, who, by the way, is the defending American League champion manager and not only managed into the World Series last year, but, look, this team is built on their offense and more, I guess better said, their power, right? They're first in the American League in runs scored. They lead Major League Baseball in homers. They lead Major League Baseball in slug. We know Aaron Judge has most to do with that, but the fact is, as a team, that's not the part of the team we're worried about. That part's good. It's how they win games. They have to win with their power, but they can do that. But then we get to the pitching part, and I'm looking for Garrett Cole, but I guess he had Tommy John surgery. I was looking for Clark Schmidt. He's not there. I didn't get to see Lewis Heel in the first half. Marcus Stroman got released, and they're 17th in team ERA. The starting pitching's 10th because, when you have Fried and you have Rodon and now Heel back, that's okay. And the kids have pitched well, right? Schlittler has been really good for them, which is a positive sign. Will Warren pitched great last night. So the starting pitching kind of gives you a shot. And then we go to the pen, which has been a huge problem, right? They're 22nd in baseball in team ERA back there. Devin Williams has been a nightmare, as we all know. But GM Brian Cashman does what he always does. He stepped up to the deadline and went and got David Bednar and made some other moves to try to fortify it. Defensively, as you guys know, it's not a good defensive team, right? It's in the middle of the pack, no matter how you want to break down. They're not very athletic. They're kind of one-dimensional offensively. And they're a team that, maybe gets a wild card and maybe goes home. It's kind of a borderline team right now. It's going to come down to pitching, and that's going to be the focus. They're going to have enough offense. The defense isn't going to be great, but at the same time, how do you pitch the rest of the way is going to determine if they're a playoff team and how far they go. But to sit there and blame any of this on the manager's foolish. I love the way he stands up for the players. And by the way, behind the scenes, he's a pretty good communicator. And, he'll get tough on a player in his office one-on-one, but he doesn't embarrass players, right? Not publicly and not privately does he embarrass them. He's done a great job. And as I said, American League champion. But we all know what it's like in New York, right? If you're not in first place, everyone needs to be fired. I remember coming home from the World Series game in New York in the taxi cab, and the cab driver goes, if we don't win tonight, Boone's going to get fired. He's got to go. It's like, okay, enough.
That's my thing is, JB, that was not a perfect roster last year. That was evident, right? That was a clunky roster that Aaron Boone led to a World Series. And also, we know the front offices have as much, if not a bigger impact than ever on our sport, right? They help on some sides decide lineups. They script games, the whole deal. So my follow-up here, because I'm getting into many debates with Yankee fans, including some right now that are in our YouTube chat, revolves around Devin Williams. Two-parter for you. One, do you fault any of the usage, like I believe it was Friday's game, when Booney said afterward, he can't really find a soft landing spot and you got to use your relievers. So essentially, it's like, unless you're cutting this guy, you got to put him in some games if they're all tight games. That's the first portion. The second portion I'm getting into right now with a fan who wanted to ask you why they didn't trade Devin Williams at the deadline. And he said they already have 2 closers they brought in. Why would they have another? So can you explain how teams like to gather high leverage relievers? And also, if Devin Williams was that broken that a contender's trading him away, then what team would even want him at that point?
Yeah, then they're not going to want him. And look, when you have a talent like Devin Williams that has a Bugs Bunny changeup, you're hoping you can get him back on track. We've seen a lot of relievers go through bad slumps, and all of a sudden they figure it out and they can be dominant. We have 6 weeks left in the season. But I think there's an argument that sometimes Devin Williams has been brought into games where, I probably would have done something differently, right? I mean, you got to win. And I can't sit there and hope that I'm going to get the Devin Williams of last year. I have to understand that I have the Devin Williams of this year, and I have to use him accordingly. I mean, that's why it was great that Cash went out and got Bednar. You got your closer now. Bednar can be that guy. Weaver can get to him. And yeah, there's going to be games where, you have to use Devin Williams in high leverage just because that's, he's one of 13 guys and everyone's got to be used. But yeah, I think you can manage that. But look, this Yankee team is flawed, but it still is a team that could get to the playoffs, and they're going to have to earn it. And let's wait and see.
All right, Jim, we talked about the Yankees. Let's talk about 2 other teams with high expectations, the Mets and the Dodgers. Both. Okay. I mean, the Dodgers are only 1 game in front. The Mets have fallen well behind, 6 games behind the Phillies at this point. Which one has a better opportunity? Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think the Dodgers will win the division? And then if they get to the playoffs, do you think the Dodgers by far have a better chance to make a deep run over the Mets?
I think they have a better chance to run a deeper run than the Mets, but I think the Padres win the division. So kind of go through that. I worry a little bit about the Mets rotation. I think they'll turn things around. They're not where they 1-9 in their last 10. I know they're not playing well. And I'll ask you this, AJ. What do you do when your star players aren't hitting, right? Alonso, last 20 games hitting 190. Lindor hitting 168. Nimmo's hitting 205 in the last 20 games. I mean, I'll ask you, what do you do to turn it around? Juan Soto's hitting 202 in the last 20 games. Those are your star players. So normally when one slumps, the others are carrying you. Now all of a sudden, none of them are hitting at the same time. I mean, my guess is they're going to turn it around and get hot, and then they'll win 8 out of 9 and turn things around. But I'll ask you, how do you fix those guys when in August they've had a 20-game slump?
Bench them?
No.
Bench them all, Jim? Send them down?
No.
Trade them?
No.
No.
Just kind of
there used to be – Mark Grace used to have a great idea, but we can't do that anymore. So I honestly don't know. I don't. You just hope they all get hot because, like you said, normally they don't all get cold at the same time. So
right.
Yeah, I want to go back to the other thing you said. You think the Padres are going to win the West? How disappointing for Dodger fans, Dodger organization, Dodger everything if the Padres somehow win the West.
Yeah, of course. I think couple of things with the Padres. They made the back end of that bullpen so ridiculously dominant that if they get into the 7th, 8th, and 9th with the Dodgers, and they're going to play them 2 weekends in a row, this weekend in LA, the next weekend in San Diego, and this is going to be playoff baseball in August. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this. But that bullpen, you watched them last night, right? When you get Miller and Suarez in those last 2 innings, ball game's over. And that Estrada's dominant, Adams dominant. I mean, that bullpen is so deep and strong, and it's so much better than the Dodgers. And I think that's going to be a huge factor. The other thing is the Dodgers rotation, it's good, it's solid. Some of it's getting healthier, but they're not as elite. And on the other side, King just came off the IL. We'll see how he looks in his second start off. Darvish last night looked great. He was throwing his 12 pitches, including the kitchen sink. Didn't walk anybody, punched out 6 and looked really good. And then, the biggest problem with the Padres has been the bottom third of the lineup, just wasn't producing all year. AJ Preller went out at the deadline and said, no problem. Here's Ramon Laureano. No problem. Here's Ryan O'Hearn, right? And all of a sudden, Luis Ariz has gotten hot after a relatively slow start even for him. And now you're getting production up and down the lineup. And in fact, in the last 20 days, Xander Bogaerts has been their best power hitter, right? He's got 5 home runs over that time to lead the team. So their lineup now, top to bottom, is there. And the bullpen is unbelievable. And, of course, the vibe at Petco is just tremendous. as well. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun race between the Padres and Dodgers. I think it'll go to the end. I'm going to pick the Padres to win because of the bullpen and the depth of the lineup now, which I think AJ corrected. Then in terms of the Mets, look, I think they get the last spot over the Reds because I think they're not as bad as what they're showing right now, and I think they'll turn around. I think they're better than Cincinnati because the lineup should be much better than Cincinnati's, and I think that'll be the difference down the stretch. But in the postseason, if I had to rank the playoff teams, if the Mets get that 6th spot, I would rank them 6 out of the playoff teams.
All right, you said about the Dodgers not winning the West. It's going to be close, but isn't that the worst case scenario in the sense that a team that wants to play the least amount of games because they're a team that's built around a lot of guys that get hurt, needing to play an extra wild card series could be the worst case scenario for them? And did the Dodgers go too all in on guys that are essentially injury risks, and now they could be up against needing to play extra games to get to where they want to be?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, Andrew Friedman has always tried to offset those risks by building so much depth, right? I mean, to think of the injuries they've had to 12 starters and now to still be in first place today. I mean, how many teams could ever do that, right? Especially when the names that were down were like Snell and Glasnow and Sasaki, and you're still in first place today? That's incredible. So they tried to build it with depth. And, the one thing the Dodgers just need to make sure is that their starting pitchers are healthy come October, that their big guys are ready to go. And then they can clearly, possibly run the table here. They can afford to make those gambling risks that most teams can't. They can keep signing injury-prone guys just because they can spend whatever they want. They don't have a salary cap. They don't have a limit. They don't have a problem spending $300 million more than the Marlins this year on payroll because they can. And if you can, why not? So, yeah, I think health is going to play a big part of how far the Dodgers go when they get to October. They'll get there, even maybe as a wild card team, but playing the extra round with injury risk players, sure, that's going to be a factor.
Yeah, it's funny. We said the same thing last year because it was not a shiny rotation and they won a World Series. I would make the case the Padres are stronger this year. The Phillies are stronger this year. So it'll be a tough competition for them. But JB, good catching up with you.
JB.
Yeah.
We have Kratz outs. We need to do JB's hoodie. So what's the hoodie today? Because I don't see a giant name brand on that one.
Yeah, we're just aloe today, AJ. That's my go. When the going gets tough, I just grab an aloe.
Okay. It's a good plug right there.
I actually had another one on that was purple. My wife said I looked fat in it, so she made me change.
Stupid sweatshirt.
Hey, she's a wonderful lady, so we give her all of the credit in the world, right, JB? She's only got your back. She's looking out for you. Yes, absolutely. Exactly. And I love the black, so it looks good.
Thanks.
Rather have her honest.
Take care of you.
JB, good stuff. We'll catch you soon, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Jim Bowden at Jim Bowden GM on Twitter. Check out all his articles in The Athletic, among other spots. Be right back to talk about an Ohtani scandal. We have a little breaking news on HelloFresh. We've talked about them for a long time, but this summer they have their biggest menu upgrade yet. Ready for this, Todd Father?
Talk to me.
They have doubled their menu. Doubled. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. 100 options per week.
That's incredible. But to start out, what they had before was absolutely perfect. Now to add even more for your go guys like me. I got baseball in the morning. I got baseball afternoon, all day, every day. I need something to get going. I need something to eat, and it's absolutely delicious, Scott.
That's right, Todd Father. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM right now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on a first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That is HelloFresh.com/FT10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. I was going back and forth with Steven in the chat during that conversation with JB. The question we didn't get to of his was about the Mets. He said, do you think that David Stearns will go after those big money ace bulldog guys in future off seasons. That's one of his things. He likes to avoid that. He doesn't believe in it. But I just wonder, Kratz, when you spend so much on your team, that's going to hurt you. Is it worth taking that risk every once in a while? Frankie Montas has been an absolute disaster contract. And I get it. It's not burning them. It's 2 years, $34 million. I mean, for other teams, it could really hurt. That's $17 million on a guy who hasn't pitched much this year and has been really bad since he returned. Those are the kind of guys that they hope they sprinkle a little Jeremy Hefner magic dust on and he turns into a star. And some of them work. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying they're not all going to work. And if you have a year like last year and then this year, a few of them don't pan out, boom, here you are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll. I don't know. I guess if this year doesn't pan out the way he wants it to, maybe he'll revisit it. But there's contracts that are not the Frankie Montas size contracts and not the Corbin Burns contracts. There's stuff in the middle. Like if you remember, Zach Wheeler came over to the Phillies a few years ago for $100 million. I think he'll dip his toe in there, but some guys just really are afraid of that 6 to 8 year contract for $35-40 million. May have to change though, because you need that horse. You need a guy every 5 days to give everybody in the pen a blow.
Yep. Should have signed Pavetta. This one's juicy. We received many requests to cover it, so here we go. Shohei Ohtani and his representation as Bolello are being sued, and they are being accused of sabotaging a $240 million real estate deal in Hawaii. It's a big lawsuit. It's filed by a couple guys that have been involved in this project apparently for many, many years. They brought in Ohtani. I'm going to do my best to summarize and remember that these are all allegations that are going on in a lawsuit. Okay, this ain't court of law. This isn't the law podcast, but I'm going to read the best I can here. So these guys, and their names are Tomoko Matsumoto, and he's a real estate broker, as well as a developer named Kevin Hayes, said they were getting increasingly demanded concessions from Ohtani's agent, Nez Bolello, and they, I guess, weren't answering to all of them. And then they claim that Ohtani and really representation got them out of the project, got them fired from this massive project that they've been working on for a long time. Many of you are going to look at this and go, foo-foo rich people fighting over real estate. No doubt. But Shohei Ohtani was involved in a massive, massive scandal last year where his interpreter, Ipe, was betting on games and stealing money, stole a ton of money from Ohtani. That case is done, right? He's going to prison, or he's in prison already. Like that, he was convicted. So here we go. We're a year later. Stars get sued all the time. AJ, I'll start with you. What's your initial thoughts of this? Because for me, I doubt that Shohei Ohtani is involved in the day-to-day of a real estate project. And I read as much as I could. I even read Japanese articles this morning about the coverage of this. It sounds like they were disagreeing, and maybe they, on Ohtani's side, thinking that he was using, marketing materials like photos and stuff that they didn't agree to, and that they were even potentially promising people that they could like spend time or eat with Ohtani if they bought some of these spots. And these are like $17 million homes on average. But it also does sound like Ohtani either gets paid or a discount or something like that for putting his name or his face or doing a voiceover for this project, right? If you want to avoid everything with a private home, you don't get involved in the marketing side of things. That part I know. There might be a lot of wrongdoing and you pull out of a project. You never know, right? You might have trusted the guys. Now it's a problem. But I don't know of many stories where guys are putting their names on real estate projects, if they don't need to.
No. Most times, if I had Shohei Ohtani's money, I'd just buy the whole area, right? It's $240 million. He's making $700 million. Just buy the whole island if he wants to. At this point, I don't know, man. This is just such a weird story. And why is he involved? Why is he? Does he need more money than what he's got? Maybe, but it just sounds like he's getting bad advice from somebody. I don't know who it is, but would you say, Scott? There's a video of him promoting this, and there's pictures of him promoting this, and they didn't like that. They were using certain pictures of him, and then it gets real petty. So I don't know. Maybe this is the group trying to get attention? I don't know. The real estate group trying to get attention. I don't know. This whole thing is just weird. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And listen, we can say whatever we want, but guys lose money, make bad investments, make bad decisions. It happens all the time. So I don't know what's happening in Shohei's world. I wish we could hear from him, but he doesn't speak very often. He definitely won't speak on this. So I just don't know. I wish there was some answer that it was a magical answer, but I don't know. Maybe we get a magic 8-ball and shake it and it says yes or no. I don't know.
Well, my thing, Kratz, before you jump in, and again, some of this stuff is going to come out when we actually get to the court case, if we do. But within the articles last month in what the suit called a, quote, coordinated ambush, Kingsbarn, which is the group that ended up firing those two guys who are suing Ohtani and his rep, openly admitted during the call to them that Bolello had demanded, the agent for Ohtani, the terminations of those two, and said that they said that they were being replaced and fired solely because of Ohtani's camp. So my thing, even on that side of the equation, Kratz, is if you get involved in all of this and you don't want to be involved anymore, why are you then taking the next step to get these two guys fired? Even if you don't like them and you think that they're doing you wrong, it sounds like you should just get out of all of that because of who you are as a public figure. And again, my guess, Ohtani is not very aware of what's going on here, and he's handing a lot of things over to someone. I also will say, if I'm him and I don't pay attention to anything, but someone's telling me, hey, I'm going to get you a deal on a real estate spot, I need you to voice something over. If that part is true, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to avoid that. I don't think that sounds like a great idea for me. It could become messy, or, that's really putting my name on a property that I want to live in and kind of be private with, right? And if I'm putting my face and my voice on something, I'm probably recruiting people that want to be there around me. I don't know. That's me. But maybe I'm seeing this completely wrong. I just think that we've got two big stories in the past year, and if you really want to lay low, this is not the way to do it.
And I think my hope is that it just comes out that it's another case of Shohei Ohtani's naivety. He's very naive in financial things, because then it's like, okay, yes, he's clear of all this. But I've also played with guys who are superstars and have been taking advantage financially of people, and I've never heard of it happening twice, let alone like once it happens, it's like, hey, I really have to close my circle. I really have to close the things I want to get involved in, the extra things. But we've heard all the time, Shohei Ohtani is a advertising mogul. Japan, over here, LA, New Balance is, he's the face of New Balance. When you're a star and you're able to make this advertising money, Nez Bolello's never going to get him another contract in baseball. So all the advertising money, it's a short window. And so when he gets an opportunity to make some for his client, who knows, maybe he's trying to dip into this too. I don't know. But I think if you're making as much as people are saying Shohei Ohtani is making in advertising, and the team is probably making that much more, how do you even keep track of all of it? How do you even say, okay, I'm not going to be as naive, I'm going to get involved in it, but I also have to go do my throwing program, I have to do my rehab, I have to be the leadoff hitter, I have to do
Ooh, pick me. I know the answer. I know the answer, Kratz. I know the answer to this one because I sit next to someone most days who taught me about this. If I was ever in his position, I'll call a friend, AJ Pierzynski. If you're constantly getting hit with all of these offers and things, right? Obviously you pick and choose your spots. Some are great and some are trustworthy. It's blue chip stock companies, all of that, right? But then you get thrown a lot of other things like real estate projects. What do you do, especially in your playing days? Because this is something that you did, AJ. What do you do? It's a really complicated word that you throw out there. It's two letters, one word.
Check your junk.
No, that's way longer. 2 letters that you taught me. N-O. No.
Oh,
You
just
say
say
no
no
to some of this crap. Like,
Say
what
no.
are we
You know
doing?
how much junk I said no to in my life. You know how much junk I said yes. I just got in this thing with my buddy Pickle. I don't know why, but hopefully it works out. I should have said no, but I didn't. Okay, but it'll work out. Why? Because he's Pickle. I mean, listen. Do you not trust a guy named Pickle? Right? So I mean, I gotta trust Pickle. But here's the thing: you just say no. Just say no. Here's one thing I've learned about athletes over the years, and I've had conversations with people about this. You play, you're highly competitive. Everything is going. You're pushing, pushing, pushing. You get out, and you're like, okay, let's say I'm going to throw random numbers out there. You make $100 million in your career, just random numbers. Okay, well then you go to your country club, or you go to your yacht or your plane. And there's a guy who made $500 million, and he's got a bigger plane and a bigger boat. Well, the competitive side of athletes says, I want to be like that guy. Be happy with what you got. Don't chase 200 million, 500 million. If you got 100, try to keep your 100, let that grow, and then work on that. But be happy with what you have, guys. You don't constantly need more, unless the guy's name is Pickle.
But you need to do what you like. I mean, AJ Pierzynski was doing was it WWF or WWE when you did it? You were the only active player doing Fox games in the playoffs the years you wouldn't make it. But those were things that you liked doing. So to me, Ohtani needs to do things he likes doing, and he's actually invested in watching and doing those things.
Yeah, this is very different to me. This is a pretty intense case going on here. And again, it could get dropped. But these are one guy's a 40 years of experience developer, another guy's a longtime listing agent. And they said, they went after them. And then they said there's even a neighboring development that they were trying to pick up. And then they went after that. So I'm like, damn, if any of that is a semblance of truth to it, get out, abort. And if you don't know about it, you got to reevaluate your team. That's all. Some people are going to look at this, think we're going after Shohei, best player on the planet, one of the best players of all time. So don't do that. But we're going to bring this stuff up because nobody else does. And I like to hear the player perspective. Anyway, for more player perspective on other topics, the Texas Rangers had a nice little walk-off win yesterday. Rowdy Tellez was a big part of it. He's joining us next. Hey, we're back. So anyway, I thought that was a good topic to get into. I wanted to spend some time on that. Kind of a wild story, so we'll give it a follow as we're going.
It's going to be fascinating to see what becomes of it. Is what I want to just see what becomes of it, because let's say, how much I don't know the numbers, but what are they suing him for? How much are they suing Ohtani?
But it's a massive project, so it's going to be many millions of dollars. It's a $240 million real estate project.
No, I understand that, but if you're Ohtani, why don't you just write a check and be like, dude, here's $100 million, beat it.
He might, but 100.
I don't know. I'm just saying, would you? I don't know how much you're suing him for. That's kind of my point. And then again, like you said, Scott, if you're not knowing what's happening, then you gotta tighten your circle, as Kratz said, and make people pay attention. Like I said, check your junk and don't have friends named Pickle. That's it.
And here's what's going to happen too. If you do take it to a case, you start to learn more information, right? That's where the opposition, the plaintiff for them, is going to lay out emails, exchanges, whatever. They're not going into this with nothing. I'm not saying that as a fact, but they clearly have some ammo that they think is wrongdoing, and they're going to bring it out in a court case and see if that holds up. So does it get to that point for someone who is very private? That was my big thing when I read this. I'm like, this is one of the most private people I've ever covered in sports. Why is he putting his face on a real estate project? That's one of the most public things you can do. Hi, I'm buying this. I'm going to be around here. I'm going to be opening, or they said in one of the brochures, some type of hitting facility or whatever for himself. You're clearly making a spectacle of this development. You're not hiding things. So again, if someone told you that you're just doing one voiceover and then everyone's going to leave you alone, you're getting got. You got to reevaluate who's doing those kind of decisions for you.
That's bad advice. That goes back to his team.
Yeah. You doing a commercial for a shoe company? Good, fine. There aren't many cracks in that one, unless you're doing a commercial for the see-through jerseys last year, and then you get out of that.
Just can't let it go, can you, Scott?
I haven't brought it up in months. I kind of keep a counter, and every 3 months, Kratz said I can say something. It's been 3 months, AJ.
I haven't heard.
Four times a year.
I haven't heard it for a minute.
Yeah, thank you. They did fix them, and I'm glad. Hey, we got Rowdy Tellez joining us right now. Oh, are we in the ballpark already, Rowdy? How you doing, man?
Yeah, some of us are athletes, Braun, so
Yeah.
we get there early. We got to get our work done. We don't just sit behind a computer and do nothing. But hey, guys, how you doing? AJ, I missed you. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy to see you.
Okay, so I saw Rowdy on Saturday. He gave me a big hug, even though he was complaining the whole time. But I must say this. I just want to know this, and this is all I want to know. Great, cool homer you hit last night when whatever you said, you mouthed. But why do you let Jock Peterson, of all people, go like this to you? And I heard him call you fat. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're bigger than him. Squash him.
Well, it's a little inside joke. You're a big guy too, so you get it. But we have bigger stomachs, and we're just a couple of some the Bash Bros or something. I don't know, the Belly Bandits. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Somebody else called me something. I did a radio show when I first got here, and they basically told me I was fat, and they were like, "Hey, if you could eat anything here, what would it be?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, whatever." And they were like, "Yeah, have you ever had food here?" And I was like, "Yeah, believe it or not, I have. I live here." And they were like, "Oh, so you've eaten?" And I was like, "Yeah." Then they called me the Girthquake or something stupid. And
Rowdy,
that
did
radio
you feel
show
like they
sucked.
took it too far there when they were on with you? Like, was it?
No,
I
but
mean,
they
I didn't
tried to
listen to the
be-
whole thing, but what was the deal?
They tried to be funny, and they're not. They're just not funny. So I went full just emotionless person and was like, "Hey guys, that was pretty stupid." So we'll leave it at that.
Yep, little shock jock stuff. That's why, yeah, we leave it to AJ for the comedy, but
Listen,
me for the
I
serious stuff. Yes.
Hold on. No, I can say that because the first thing Rowdy said to me was, first of all, he goes, "Why are you here?" And then I said, "Well, Fox." And
Valid
he's like,
question.
"You're still on TV." And I said, "Yes."
Also
and
a
then
valid question.
And then his last question was, "Wow, you put on like 20 to 30 pounds." So, no, I haven't.
So I have eyes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not Ray Charles out here. I can see. So I was, it was endearing. I was like, "Hey AJ, I miss you. You're fat. Give me a hug. Nice watch. Hey, tell him I said nice watch." I gave him
You
a
did.
compliment.
You did.
It was,
But
it was
I also say this. I do like the Girthquake. That's a nice nickname. The Girthquake.
yeah.
That's
See,
good.
if you would have came up with it, maybe it was cool. But some dude that got cut from his t-ball team because he hit the tee, that's not cool.
But I also have enough couth not to call somebody that I barely know. I wouldn't walk up to someone I just know
Exactly.
and be like, "Hey, dude, look at how fat you are." I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
I'm not gonna go up to somebody that's 3 times bigger than me, and be like, "Hey, dude, you're fat. Nice Girthquake," or whatever it is, and move on and be like, "Yeah, dude, cool."
Hey, do you think that we live in a world now, Rowdy, where too many people or shows are just trying to think about ways to go viral versus actually have a good conversation? Like I'm obviously just passionate about good content, talking to people. I get nerdy about talking baseball, but often you'll hear someone just ask a question where they know they're just trying to create virality.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it a lot kind of with you. We have a couple of baseball guys on here, and then they throw in this little guy that asks a question, and they're just hoping it sticks, kind of like poo on a wall or something. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I do. I think there's people out here that just say dumb things to hope to get a reaction or ask questions for just a reaction and trying to make it big. But I mean, it was a radio show. It wasn't even like you could see us. Voices. So for all they know, I could have been like a spry 21-year-old gym rat, but I'm not.
You also could have been smiling. You can't tell the sarcasm, but anyway, all right. I want to talk about last night. So how was last night? Was that the biggest win of the season for the Rangers, fighting for a playoff spot? We're in mid-August. Team's down in the middle of the game. Big home run from Langford. Big home run from you. Berger wins it. So what was it like?
It was good. I mean, we got swept by Philly, so that was tough. Good team, but I felt like this was a must-win for us, and we came in and put together some good at-bats late. I know Evo didn't have the start he wanted, but bullpen came in and held it close, and we were able to drive in some runs. And then Berg with the pinch hit double, that was huge, and that put us in the win column. And now we're just got to build on it game by game. Later it gets in the season, the dog days. You can't just look ahead on who's coming or what road trip you're taking. You got to just take it game by game or even pitch by pitch just to minimize it. And you guys understand it. It's been in playoff races. They're intense, so you just want to win as many as you can. String together as many as you can. Obviously, name the games to win series, but you can't win series if you don't win the first one or the second one. So just got to keep going.
Put an over-under on how many times you look at the scoreboard when you guys are playing at the same time that the Astros are playing.
You know what, dude? I'm going to be honest. I don't know where it is in this stadium. There's a lot of scoreboards in here, but I don't know where they show which ones, because guys would be like, oh, so-and-so's winning. And I'm like, where? I'm like trying to find them all, but I can't, because I think there's too many, and I don't have enough brain cells to comprehend where they're at. So I think I'm outnumbered by screens to brain cells in the stadium. It's a really cool stadium.
It is really cool, but it's new. I mean, it's one of, if not the newest one still, so it's pretty high tech there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's way better than the old one. You guys played in the old one too, and it was just a sweat box. I feel like I never went to the new one other than like late July, right after a rainstorm. I would just stand out in the field, and I would have to change uniforms. I'd sweat through it. I think I was telling a story. The first time I ever played there, it was like rained. We ended up kicking off the game at like 7:30 or something like that. And by the 9th inning, I had done 2 line changes. I had went 2 full new uniforms, and they'd thrown one in and washed it, dried it, and let me put it back on for like the 7th, 8th, and 9th. It was miserable. And I had hair, so it wasn't like it was sweating from the top. I was catching it, but it wasn't that good.
Is it too cold in there? Would you rather have it be like a little bit, or is it perfect?
No, because like the placebo effect of when you move around, you sweat a little bit more. Then I'm like, dude, I'm losing weight. I don't need to go to the gym. So I feel good. That's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. You guys can't see, but it's warm. I'm losing weight right now.
Do it.
Yeah, it's like a sauna suit. AJ, so you should get one. I'll send one to you.
I had one of those. We used to make us run in those. They were trash bags. Mizuno made them. And they had tight. And Eddie Guardado used to run miles in it, and he still looked the same. So I don't think they work.
Oh, left-handed pitcher, see?
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Hey, how come you don't have your fake? I'm talking. Hold on. How come you don't have your fake silver slugger in the background?
Because I'm not at home. I'm in Atlanta. So I'm not home.
Oh, you got kicked out again. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Are you doing a game?
No. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
I was about to say, there's no way they're giving you a suite on the road.
No. This is I'm in an apartment. Look, you want to see look, this is set up. Hold up. Here, look.
Oh, you have a whole family in there.
Oh yeah, I have my son, my friend, his son, my friend Pickle, who you would get along with great because you guys are both fat, right? So
that's why Pickle got the shout out.
Yeah, hold on. I didn't see. Maybe that's why all of us get along, is because you're fat, but you're kind of like an in the closet one. You're like the one that's like, oh, I'm not really fat. I'm bulking, but really, you just allergic to anything green.
Okay, so back to my question. Were you really a change the uniform type of guy? So did you change multiple? Do you still do that? Because I played with teammates that had like 4 or 5 jerseys, and pitchers would come in every inning and switch their shirt, and they full wardrobe change, like you said. I always just wore the same one, and I sweated a little bit, not a lot. But is that hard to do? Because I always wondered this. I never really asked anybody. You're the first guy that admitted it. So would you go full head to toe wardrobe change or just jersey?
In that Texas game, I ended up going full wardrobe. Usually I just take my jersey off. Keep the same undershirt, but take my jersey off. But, I mean, jerseys are lighter and more moisture wicking, I guess, nowadays. I mean, you played with the heavy, majestic ones. Those are probably a pain to play in the summer in hot places. But, yeah, I change my jersey probably. If I'm playing and it's warm, definitely once. I've only done it twice, maybe a handful of times, but definitely once. Like in here, I won't do it. But we're going to go play in Kansas City here in like a week, and I'll probably do it there.
Whew. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. KC in August. Fun. Rowdy, I want to play a game here right now. Just help us out. We can bring AJ on for this one too. So we'd like you to help us with guest booking. We haven't had as many Rangers as many other teams, and I just don't know the personalities there as much. We've had Wyatt Langford on. Seager was on in spring training with Alana Rizzo, who covered him for years. But now that you've been with the team for a minute, can you give us, a lay of the land? Like, who else do we need to request or get a hold of to bring on the show? Who's loud in the clubhouse? Who thinks they're funny?
Well, there's Jock. I think you guys all know Jock. So
Yep.
he's me and him are very similar body types, mainly hair too. He thinks he's got good hair. He thinks he has swag. I don't know what his deal is, but I think, you know what, everybody else is pretty, like, we have a lot of good guys here.
Rowdy,
what?
hold up. With Jock. No, with Jock. You were there. I see Jock. Jock's like, what's up? And I'm like, hey, how's it going, Jock? Hey, blah, blah, blah. We have a whole full conversation. He's like, I'm not coming on your show. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I mean, yeah, Jock's cool, but, like, dude, we didn't do anything to Jock. We love Jock. I love the pearls and the blonde hair, the whole thing he's got going.
Well,
and love when he hits
you
homers.
should have fired one back. Should have been like, that's okay. We don't want you on the show. We have enough people.
But
you're not that quick. That's why you can't handle people like me. And then you try and bully us, and you try and, like, brute strength and stuff, and it just doesn't work. You're not quick-witted. It's okay, dude. It's fine. I get it.
He's trying to play nice.
Over there. He hasn't said a word this whole time. I don't know if is he mute?
No, Rowdy. He was on vacation for like a month. He's super rusty today. He like doesn't know how to put sentences together.
Kratzy, where'd you go?
Sure. I went to Scranton.
Oh, nice.
Under Mifflin.
But no, we have. I think one of the funnier guys on the team is Josh Smith. Dry, funny, he's quick. Like, he thinks on his toes. That's probably what I would say my pick. Smitty's pretty good. Yeah.
No, that's good. AJ,
I'm trying to go through everybody. That would be my pick.
AJ, we haven't had Josh Smith on, have we?
We have a clubhouse attendant. We have a clubhouse attendant here that's probably one of the most quick-witted people I've met. His name's Parker.
I know Parker.
Yeah, he didn't like you. He told me, but he.
That's okay. As long as Brandon and Dave like me, I'm good and lucky. Brandon, Dave, and lucky.
Hey, you know what? I don't say many good things about you, but I will say a lot of people say that you treat people right, just not your teammates, and that's fine. And I'm for that. We need more people like that. But how you treat the people that you work with every day says a lot. So you're not that big of a. Can't even say that word anymore because we're live, dude. It's so stupid.
By the way,
AJ, you got to be a good teammate and let him go. He's got a meeting in 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Is it with Booney?
Oh, okay. Yes, it is. Here's your joke. Go for it. Nice try. Come on.
Short joke. Just go up to him and be like, AJ has a short joke. That's it. That's all you got to say. Then
he's gonna drop me with tell AJ hit more homers, and I'm like, yeah. Well.
Yeah, I know. Of course, that's fine. Boone and I go way back, so it's fine. It's cool. There's a lot of stories I could tell you, not on the air though, about him. Next time I see you, I'll give you some good Boone ammo.
We had Brett on the show, right?
I'm gonna need the
gig. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best.
Rowdy, go do your thing, man. We don't want you to be late, but tell Boone
Rowdy,
you said what
seriously,
up.
Nice homer yesterday. That was awesome.
Thanks, AJ. Appreciate it. Kratzy, always fun talking to you, man. Maybe we'll work in some words next time. My sister's an SLP. She'll help you out. So,
you will say nothing. Take us to break. Thanks, Rowdy.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
See you guys.
There we go. We were getting some guest requests too. Someone said get Brendan Donovan on, and we've never had him on. We can work on that. We can work on Erik Kratz, getting him to talk. That was pretty good. Rowdy was on his game today.
Dude, he was great when I saw him. He was great when I saw him. He did homer.
You're right.
Happy homer guy. Happy homer guy. He looks up at the scoreboard. He's hitting 297 for the Rangers. He's like, yep, probably going to get an extension from these guys.
That's good. That's impressive. Hey, while we have a moment, we'll stay in the AL West and show you the jersey of the moment yesterday. Brian McTaggart posted this one. He said, how many of you kept your number 1 Correa Astros jersey? And we'll break them out tonight. And then said, let's see a picture. This guy kept it. made it a Jeremy Pena jersey, and then said, "I'll have to remove the tape." That's good.
Ingenuity. That's an ingenuity. That's part of being an Astros fan. Your team isn't going to extend anybody, but they're just going to keep winning. So deal with it. Go to Ross, go to TJ Maxx, and get yourself an old guy, old team jersey, and put some tape over it.
Sorry about all the noise. I got kids brushing their teeth right here. I mean, we got bathrooms in this place.
This is a national television show.
My kids are brushing their teeth next to me. No. I don't understand what's happening.
No, we don't brush teeth in a studio. This is a live TV studio right now in an apartment, in a random apartment. Anyway, when we come back, better than box scores, we'll talk about Eovaldi. The Phillies, maybe get a little Brewers shout out in there. And then later on, we're going to go over the remaining storylines and questions of the 2025 season. No. Now you hear me. Better than box scores. Let's run through some things from yesterday. Let's actually start with the Rangers. I know we were just talking to Rowdy Tellez. So they pull off a big walk-off win yesterday. AJ Wyatt Langford, huge 3-run home run to get them back involved in that game against the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks aren't a pushover team here down the stretch because they still got bats. I mean, you could score against them, but they have bats.
Gallen, you would think at some point Gallen's going to pitch good at starter 3, right?
You would think.
Potts still pretty good. I mean, they still have some dudes on that team. It's not like they got rid of everybody. Corbin Carroll's still there last time I checked. I mean, Alec Thomas is having a better year. They still have some dudes there.
Yeah, you got Cattell. I mean, there's some good bats. I mean, it's one of the best lineups, or it was one of the best lineups in baseball. Obviously, they lost Gino and Josh Naylor, but there's some good bats in there. Bullpen is pretty crappy. But anyway, Rangers pull off the walk-off win. Also, Eno Sarris put out an article yesterday about Nathan Eovaldi having the best season of his career. I know it wasn't as good yesterday, but still, I mean, he is still a sub-2 ERA through 20 starts this season. Best ERA in baseball, minimum of 20 starts. He's got a 1.71 in 20 starts. And what Eno pointed out is just the evolution of him being tough to guess against, right? He's a full-blown pitcher now. He said he's throwing slower than ever, but the crafty righty has transitioned from the rookie that used to throw 100 and see his fastball get blasted anyway to now being a pitcher with the most even mix he's ever had. 15% four-seam fastballs, 6% sinkers. So that's 21% heaters, 22% cutters. So if you count that in the fastball range, then you've got the curve and the splitter as your other pitches for outs. Curve 24%, splitter 34%. So what do we think about the pitch mix here? Catchers, who wants to run first with this one from what they're seeing from Eovaldi all year? AJ?
I love it. I love it. He's been unbelievable this year. I love it. I love Nate. I mean, it's awesome. Good for you. He made adjustments. He's throwing a little bit slower. So what do? He started throwing that nasty split and cutter more. Duh. That's pitching. Good job, Mike Maddox. Mike Maddox went out there, gave him the old claw on the arm. I was like, let's throw different pitches. There he is, having a great year.
Name of the game is win. Name of the game is win, and he's pitching to win ball games. Sarris, I'm not saying like this is his fault. This is a baseball thing. Like everybody's so worried about velocity, and like he even put kind of like a little bit of a crafty righty name on him. Like jokingly, but essentially the whole game is now about just velocity, and don't worry about where it goes because you have such a bigger margin for error when your pitches are 96 miles an hour and above. Zach Wheeler threw, in my opinion, a decent start just the other day after they had shoulder was a little bulky, it wasn't coming back, and he was sitting 94 in that start. Oh my gosh, everyone's so I don't like to see that out of Wheeler. It's like, yeah, you don't, but sometimes you just have to do what it takes to win the game. And I think Eovaldi's seen what happens because when he first came up, his fastball was kind of a light fastball. Yes, it was 100, but guys would hit it. And now you're talking about 10 plus years later, he's doing what it takes to win the games. And I love it. I love seeing it because as a catcher, those are some of the most fun games to call when dudes are like putting it where you want it to go on the plate and not just gunslinging it all over the strike zone.
Follow up here. Why don't younger pitchers embrace methods like this earlier in their career? And I'm not saying that they should shy away from a strength. I mean, if you've got the velo, awesome. Although Nathan Eovaldi had the velo when he was early in his career, and it didn't necessarily produce great results with the heater. So my question, AJ, is why doesn't a young pitcher pick up tendencies like this? Some do, of course, but
Why?
many don't. Many just throw.
Why? What gets you drafted? Velocity. What gets you to move up in the minor leagues? Through the minor leagues to the big leagues. Velocity. They're like, we can teach him how to throw strikes in the big leagues. This guy throws 100. Let's just get him to the big leagues and we'll figure it out. That's why. If more guys were rewarded for being good pitchers, then they would go back to being good pitchers. Now they're rewarded for velocity and stuff and spin and vert and horizontal and extension and this and that and carry and all that stuff. If it mattered to be a good pitcher, we'd see more of it, but it doesn't matter. It's all about the numbers and how hard you throw. It's good or bad, however you look at it. That's the way it is now.
Look who his pitching coach is. Mike Maddox. He's able to teach pitching. There's a lot of guys, and not just in the big leagues, but coming up through, and now they're being hired in high positions in the organization, have no idea how to teach pitching. So if you're an organization and you have somebody who's able to teach how to pitch, how to navigate a game, how to locate pitches, how to lean on one when you need to, that is a valuable hire in your organization. A lot of organizations, a lot of youth programs even, don't have that. All they have is guys who really never pitch that much and are like, the best way for you to get seen, the best way for you to keep getting job after job after job is to throw the ball as hard as you possibly can. And that's what they're taught. But if you want to make the most money, we had Jesse Chavez on the show the other day, a few weeks ago. If you want to make the most money, it's about staying out there on the mound. It's about reinventing yourself. It's about throwing strikes, getting outs. Eovaldi's doing it right now, and he probably wishes he had done it sooner. But maybe he didn't have guys that said, hey, it's okay if you get hurt at 94 to 97. You don't need to be 97 to 100 all the time.
Hey, we got Kratz really flowing now. He's cooking. He's talking. All right, so while we're on this, Kratz, I'm going to set you up for a layup. Last one here in this segment. The Phillies won yesterday against the Reds team fighting for a wild card spot. Taijuan Walker, who Phillies fans wanted sent to the moon to play baseball last year, put together 6 innings, 1 run, 2 punch-outs, and now has a 3.31 ERA in the 14 starts that he's made this season. Paul Casella, covering the team, said for a little perspective, Ranger Suarez has a 3.25 ERA since the start of last season. He said, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying Walker has made an unbelievable improvement from a 7.10 ERA last year. And this is why teams do not cut high-priced track record guys so quickly. What are you seeing, Kratz?
I'm seeing the angle of his pitches. Everybody wants to talk about in spring training his velocity. He touched a few 93, 94 in the season. His velocity, to me, hasn't been the thing. It's the angle of his pitches. He's always, when you're a fastball splitter guy, yes, I know he's got the slider too that goes away, but essentially he's whatever, 6'6", 6'7", and he's a fastball slider guy. You sit there and you go, how are you going to hurt this guy when you're hitting? How are you going to get a hit against him? You need to see the ball up. He's been able to land his splitter in the strike zone and throw his fastball off the same plane, and then they're chasing. It felt like it was backwards last year. When I watched games last year, it was like he's going to throw the splitter out of the zone, and he's 2-0, and then they go and they're getting something meaty in the middle of the plate, and all the analysts are going, oh, well, it's only 92 anymore. You can still get outs at 92. You just have to be able to make both your pitches look the exact same, coming in at this angle. And to me, a tall, athletic pitcher like him, he needs to create that down angle with his fastball and that down angle with his splitter so they both look the same, and guys aren't able to differentiate it. That's the biggest thing I see from him last year to this year.
Quick follow here, Kratz. Last thing. Does he crack the playoff roster as a reliever? I mean, he's not going to start. So is he going to be like the last reliever on the team that can eat innings, maybe, bridge you if you have a problem with a starter? I mean, he's not going to be a starter. I mean, if they've got the rotation intact.
I think it depends on how Nola comes back.
Okay.
I think everyone's talked, Taijuan Walker, he's going to see a velocity uptick when he goes to the bullpen. Maybe. But right now, Aaron Nola has to earn a spot in the starting rotation. He's coming off an injury. He's going to build up. He's going to have plenty of time. But right now, it's Sanchez, it's Ranger, and it's Wheeler are your three guys. So to me, I think Nola gets that spot. I think Taijuan might get a spot also. It's just tough to have two long guys in your bullpen that aren't necessarily like a 3-out guy.
Yep, fair. Good stuff, Kratz. Good breakdown. Good to see you back. We'll be right back. AJ won't if you're watching on TV. You'll see him tomorrow. But for everyone else, we'll go over some storylines in the last 6 weeks of the season to look forward to.
See ya, Pickle.
Pickle. BetMGM Locks yesterday. AJ wins. I won. AJ picking on the Twins against the Yankees is always a good call. For me, picking on and your Logan Webb lock was sweaty, but good for you. Nicely done.
He was cruising, and then all of a sudden, the seventh inning, and he couldn't get anybody out. I'm like, well, what happened here, guys? But he got it done. Got one out.
Yep.
That's all I need. Just one.
That's all you needed. You got it. You got it. You snuck through. Nice little hook 'em. And for me, the Brewers were pounding the Pirates early yesterday. AJ is going to dip for these last 15, so let's get his pick now, and then we'll do ours in the next BetMGM segment. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, I got a big one today. And I was originally just going Colorado and St. Louis over 8.5, along with Arizona and Texas over 8.5. But then I just could not get away from the 144 and 124 to 44. So I threw the Yankees in there too, money line. So that gets me to plus 401. Jordan versus, I don't even know who's pitching for the Twins. I think it's a bullpen day possibly. So that gets me to plus 401. So I need a lot of runs in the Rockies and the Cardinals, a lot of runs in the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, and the Yankees just to do what they do, and that's beat the Twins. 401.
Yeah, right.
That almost gets me back to even.
That's good. That would get you back to even. That's good. Rodon has not been good lately. So, medicine, Twins.
Get you hot. The boys will get you hot.
It's all about matchups.
And let's also not act like the Twins are this great ball club this year. I know they've played decently since the trade deadline. It's also been like a week and a half since the trade deadline. So let's see. They cleared out their whole bullpen. Usually not a good recipe for long-term success. Over a week? Sure. 6 weeks? Good luck. Anyway, AJ, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right. In the weeds, big questions remaining in the 2025 stretch drive. Let's see how many we can get through. Erik Kratz, you and me, ready to go?
Easy peasy.
How much home run history will your friend Cal Raleigh make? Currently leading the league with 45 home runs this season, and he just matched Johnny Bench for the second most home runs by a catcher. The top name on that list of all time was Salvador Perez a couple years ago with 48 home runs.
I mean, that's the first one. That's a lock. Easy.
Yep.
Catching history. I think he's going to go after Seattle Mariners history. I think it's 52, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken. I think A-Rod had 52 one year. I think he's going to get the Mariners history. I think we're going to stop there as far as history. I don't think he's going to catch Judgy. Here's my opinion for the American League record. I think he would have to be. Just would have to be a different scenario. I think guys used to feast in September sometimes in these home run chases because of September call-ups. You don't quite have that. They're going to be in a playoff hunt. They're going to be playing division team. Their division. I don't think he quite gets to Judge's American League record.
You know what? That's a great take. That's something that not everyone would consider. I didn't think about that, but it's a great call. Remember, folks, September call-ups, kids, back in the day, was this thing where you could basically call up anyone from your 40-man roster for the last month of the year. Our resident manager on the show, Buck Showalter, used to basically say that the season was split up. You had spring training to get ready. That was one portion. Then you had the regular season. Then you had September. He called that a completely different season. Suddenly, you go from 25 at the time to 40-man rosters. And
it was winter ball.
Yeah, that exactly. Winter ball. That meant you could, of course, and back then, not also get hit with the 3-batter minimum rule. So it was just pitching change city. And sometimes it worked out great. And for crappy teams, it was auditions and it was bad pitching. So you're not going to see that. But anyway, Cal's at 45 homers, and you're right, Kratz. 56 homers set twice by Ken Griffey Jr. in 1997 and 1998 are the most home runs in Mariners franchise history. So you think he tops that? So you think he's between 57 and 62?
Yeah, I think 60. If I'm setting the over under, I'm going 60 and a half.
Got it. Okay, that's
feel
still
like
incredible. That he's going to get. You think he'll get to 60 home runs?
It's crazy. I mean, you're only talking, basically he needs seven per month yet, and we're already almost halfway through August. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I'd love to see him hit 60. It's such a sick number for a catcher to do it. Lock up the AL MVP.
Yeah. Also, no offense to A-Rod, but I'm not putting much stock in any of the records with him. If we're gonna give flack for Bonds and all that,
had him.
He had him. Right. You still have to pass it. I agree. I understand. But I think in the same realm of how we looked at Judge with the home run chase, and it was about 61, right? Getting to 62, not getting to 71. I mean, A-Rod is firmly in the same category there. There's really no disputing that. It's a very PED marred career. Next up. This one's for AJ. Will the Rockies catch the 2024 White Sox? The White Sox had 121 losses, and the Rockies currently sit with 88 losses.
Yes, they're going to catch them. They're going to catch them in the sense that the White Sox are still going to have the worst record. I think the Rockies are going to figure out how to get 40. It's 42 wins they need to make sure.
That sounds right.
I got called up to the Phillies in 2015 for a month just to be the third catcher, just filling in September call-ups, like we just said. And the talk was, we are not losing 100 games. And I just remember thinking, man, where were you guys talking about this earlier? Like, why were you guys not chatting about this in May when you're stinking? Like, don't just try to turn it on at the end of the season. That just is going to happen. It's going to happen. They know they have to get 12 wins, 6 wins a month. I think the White Sox, because AJ wants it to happen, the White Sox are going to still have their record. I think the Rockies win 43.
Okay, last one. How do you see the NL West shaking out with the Dodgers and the Padres? It is a 1-game separation as of this conversation. The Dodgers are 5-5 in August. How about going back to the beginning of July, Kratz? They're 15-19 since the beginning of July. Nobody is doubting that this is a very good ball club, but the Padres might be the best team in baseball. This is the closest the Padres have been to the Dodgers in the second half of a season since 2010. And for me, it's not just the bullpen, it's the bottom of the lineup. When I'm watching, and I watch a lot of Padres games this year, when I'm watching them, it is completely changed, right? And Freddie Fermin yesterday is a good example. I mean, that was more of a dead spot for them. Fermin hit a go-ahead home run, and the bottom of the lineup changed everything for them in yesterday's win over the Giants on a Logan Webb day. So credit to them. Bullpen is obviously insane. Mason Miller was on fire yesterday. They are currently in a stretch of 13 games against the division. 7 include games against the Giants, 6 against the Dodgers. Who wins the West?
The Dodgers. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think the Padres are going to they're built to win in the playoffs. But I think the Dodgers still do it because some of these starting pitchers are now coming back. They're getting their first 3-4 starts out of the way. And I think some of these starters will help mitigate some of the issues. And I think Max Muncy hasn't been in the lineup until recently. And since he's been back, the Dodgers have started to win a few more ball games than they were before. And that slide that they had, I think Max Muncy's a huge part of that. I think the Padres are really good, but I also think they've just kind of been middling a little bit against good teams. Teams over 500, they're under 500 against teams that are over 500. So I think they're going to come up short, but it's going to be an awesome final stretch to watch.
All right, love it. If you're watching this later, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll be right back for Slap. All right, Eric, you and me. What do you got tonight? What's your lock?
All right. Mine is easy peasy. I think we're actually hitting a little bit the same. I got the Guardians money line, and I'm parlaying that with a Freddie Peralta, Paul Skeens game. I'm going first 5 under 3.5. I think that's plus 185 for me.
Yep, that is plus 185. I have Cleveland money line 130 to win a hundo. Why do you like Cleveland tonight against the Marlins? Do you think that this team gets themselves or keeps themselves involved in this wild card situation? And the Marlins had some serious sauce going for a bit, right? They had a great run. I think the Braves stomped on them a little bit and brought them back to reality.
I think they're two teams going in opposite directions. I think the Marlins are really good. I think the Marlins pitch really well. Junk's going tonight. And I think that matchup's kind of a wash for me. I don't think Cleveland's lineup is that great, but they're hot right now. I think they're hot, and I think the Marlins are not as hot. And I think they're looking at the Guardians are looking at the scoreboard going, hey, we know the Yankees are playing the Twins. We see the Twins all the time. They stink, and we have to win. So it's going to be kind of a match. I was going to do a parlay with the Yankees, Guardians both winning because I think that's going to be a better matchup the rest of the season than even we were talking Dodgers and Padres earlier.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Guardians are right in this. They didn't really sell much. I know Bieber's going to come back soon for the Blue Jays, but they didn't have him all year anyway. They lost Clase. I get it, but this is still a very similar looking team. from last year's ALCS club. So there are your locks. And if you would like to place a little bet tonight, you can swing big on your next MLB parlay. You can use a parlay boost token if you've got it in your BetMGM account. Score a bigger payout if your baseball parlay hits. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Coming right back for Slap Hands. We'll look at what we're dealing with tonight. Also, MLB announced their postseason schedule today. Lot in a minute. Let's slap. First off, postseason schedule announced. So wildcard round starts September 30th. World Series can go up until November 1st. So we could have a postseason from September to November. Think about that. Kratz hats, what do you got?
No, I got this sent to me, so I got to make sure that I get it right. But it's a prospect league, MLB prospect league now. It's a wood bat league. The Champion City Kings from Springfield, Ohio. The boys sent me the hat, and it's kind of sick. It's a sick logo. It's kind of tough to see because it's pretty intricate, but this is where the college guys go to try to get seen.
I like it. Good stuff. Quick one on matchups to watch tonight. Skeens versus Freddie Peralta. Can the Pirates stop the Brewers' 10-game winning streak? Dustin May against Spencer Arrighetti in Houston with Bregman back for round 2 against Correa and company, among many other good ones. Tuesday's got the full slate. Good to see you back, Kratz.
I need another week off now.
Not allowed.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.